Welcome to Late Night Rigs Garage. Tonight, guys, we are working on the Chrysler Pentastar 3.6 liter engine, I believe it is. Yeah, 3.6. This is in all of your Chrysler Town & Countries and Dodge Caravans, but they have a common issue. One of my friends came over with a coolant leak. It turns out it is the thermostat housing, so I'll show you how to do that. But here's what the new thermostat housing looks like. These are 20 bucks at O'Reilly. They have an integrated O-ring and a thermostat, obviously, right here. But this one has a big crack here. So I'll show you how to get that off the engine and how to put the new one in, and then how to burp the system so that everything runs correctly when you're done. Hit that like button and subscribe to the channel if you find this video helpful. I'm going to keep it short and concise for you so you can just get it done quick. In this video, we'll be using large pliers to get the clamp off. It's in a spot down in the hole. And then you'll just need a 10mm socket, a long and a short one. And then on the top side, to remove your power steering reservoir, you will need this 13mm socket. All right, the thermostat is right down in there. You can see it there. So to get to the thermostat, all you'll need to do is take this 13mm nut off the power steering reservoir, pop him up, and you can move him to the side as needed like this, which gives you a straight shot down. The next thing you'll need to do is remove this hose clamp, and you'll be using your large jawed pliers like this, and they'll go right down in like that. Squeeze it, wiggle it, pull on the hose. You'll lose maybe a pint, maybe less if you've been leaking a long time. You might not lose anything. That's scary. And then finally, there's a 10mm bolt on the top of the housing. I used a short socket for that. And there's a 10mm bolt on the bottom of the housing. I used a long 10mm socket for that. And here, folks, is the crack. I think a lot of you probably see this crack. This is a part that would have been great to make out of aluminum. All right, I just pulled it out. You can see there's a sealing surface down there. Now, this is a very important step. There shouldn't be junk on there, but definitely run your finger around that plastic sealing surface where the thermostat housing attaches and make sure there's no debris there. If there's debris, it'll make your new thermostat not seal, and that's no bueno. All right, got the housing in, and then I'm just going to put my socket down here. This flex head helps. Get it on there and just make these snug. The book calls for, I don't know, I'm going to go ahead and make these snug. You don't want to go too hard with them because it's a plastic housing. So just snug, don't be cranking on it with a long socket handle like this. Quick tech tip. Pull the hose up here and you can put the hose clamp on while it's out in an easy spot before you put the hose on to the thermostat housing. So you'll want to slide this clamp about 6 inches down with your pliers, slide the hose on to the thermostat housing right there, and then tighten this up. Then you're good to go. All right, the clamp's on. I'm going to go ahead and slide the hose on. Now I'll just grab these, slide them up here, and we should be sealed up, and then we'll bleed the system out. I'll show you how to do that in a second. Well, with a little bit of wiggling and persuasion and a couple of different settings on the pliers, we got this thing put right in. So you get your reservoir here, put them there, tighten that down with your 13mm. Next thing is we're going to top off the system. I'm going to show you how to burp this system and show you my favorite tool for that. By far my favorite Amazon tool is this funnel. This is a funnel made for coolant. What it does is it puts coolant way high up as the highest point in your system and allows all the air bubbles to bleed out of your system. So it comes with these fittings. You find the right fittings that fit your particular radiator. It comes with multiples. Make sure it's snugged down. Then the funnel will sit here. And you can go ahead and use it to the funnel so you don't make a mess. And then I'm going to fill it up to about here and then run the engine and run it with the heater wide open and on high. We're going to let this car open the thermostat, make sure it stays cool, watch the temperature gauge, and all these bubbles will be coming out. So I'll show you what that looks like now. Now I do have an affiliate link down in the description below for this funnel. If you buy it, it helps the channel out and I appreciate it. Most people can get it next day, so it could definitely help you with your project. One of my favorite tools, and I use it on my vintage cars, and I use it on my newer cars, like this one. So Now the engine is running. Now what we're looking for here is lots of bubbles. We're looking for the temperature gauge to get up to halfway. We want the thermostat to open. So when the thermostat opens, this is really going to get circulated around. Yes, I know I used the wrong color of antifreeze. The customer brought that, and he brought a universal 50/50, so we're okay. I know Chrysler has this red antifreeze, so we're mixing red and green. It's kind of Christmassy here. But also the heater needs to be turned on high, so we're circulating that hot water through the heater core so we work bubbles out. You can see bubbles popping right now. So you want to see these bubbles, and eventually the bubbles will pretty much cease to exist, and we'll know that we are ready to button this back up. But lots of bubbles coming out right now. You can see them. All right, I know the thermostat just opened because it sucked all the coolant out of here, and the cooling fan came on. So I'm going to go ahead and add more coolant. That's how we know the thermostat opened. So it opened and it pulled all that water in to make room where the air had been. So I'm going to put this in and let it circulate. And I'm going to go check the I'm going to go check the temperature in the cabin, make sure we're getting hot air out of the heater. All right. So we have hot heat. Temperature went down. It was almost at 220 there for a minute. You can see temperature's at 217. Over here it's right at 12 o'clock, so I'm just gonna rev it a little bit and kind of watch it. Check this out when I rev it. That got a bunch of air out. The heat just got much hotter when I revved it. All right, so we know this thing is burped. It's not spitting out bubbles. The cooling fans come on. The temperature stays 12 o'clock, nice and steady. The heat is hot. You want to make sure your heat is hot. This thing is completely bled and burped. So now we have all this stuff in the funnel. What do we do about that? I'll show you. Take this plug and you put it in there, and then you can pull this out, and then you just put the funnel in here and drain it into your jug. Highly recommend this funnel, even if you use it just once. Hit that link in the description below and you can get one of these. They're under 20 bucks. I'll go ahead and take this off. And we're going to put the original cap back on and let this thing pressurize. We'll double check the heat here in a minute. Make sure the temperature is at a good spot. And I think that's about it. Make sure you check for leaks on the ground underneath the next day or two. Watch your temperature gauge like a hawk. Just make sure your repair is good. And I think that's it. Hopefully this helps some of you guys out. Hit that like button if it did. Ask questions below. I'm happy to talk with you about the car. And subscribe to the channel if you want to. Thank you.